There was an incident at the No Kings rally in downtown Portland, Oregon yesterday, and I want to talk about it because I think there's a good constructive conversation to have around this particular incident. I think there's a lot of education that can come out of what happened. So I didn't make any TikTok videos this morning. I was feeling pretty wiped out from yesterday. I had a bad migraine in the middle of the night, and God bless you, Brelvy, because I took one of those and a couple ibuprofen. I went back to bed. And I woke up being okay this morning. But just so you know, after a migraine, sometimes I garble my words, or I can be like, my brain is still rebooting a little bit. So bear with me if I have any verbal errors in my videos today. I hope you all can still distill the meaning. So I didn't film this morning, and instead I spent some time watching footage from No King's Day and looking at people's posts on Blue Sky and Threads and Facebook. And as I was scrolling through Threads, I saw this post. This is in downtown at the main event, by the way. So that was from Jackson Moon's account. He's a photographer here in Portland, but he didn't film it. And I was trying to figure out what is the source of this video. It's Reddit. For those of you that don't volunteer as safety marshals for events like yesterday, you might not understand who that cyclist in the yellow vest was. Like, why is he in the middle of the street, and why did that car ram him? Now, that video starts after the first time that car hit that bicyclist. Right, so that was intentional. She accelerated into a cyclist multiple times. We just got the second one on film. That person in a yellow vest, that was a human being that woman was driving into. That person was a corker for the march yesterday. I and dozens of other volunteers were also corkers at the marches around Portland yesterday. Whatever No King's Day event you went to, volunteers were there to make sure that route was safe and secure. Corkers all over the country helped establish the perimeter of your march route and keep you safe. A corker's job is to literally be a human cork and to stop up the traffic. So if you have a march route that is going down the street this way, right? Obviously, this whole route has already been blocked off, but you have to deal with traffic coming in and intersecting this route. So corkers are volunteers, either bicyclists or folks on foot, who are usually wearing very bright safety vests, and we are lined up 1 block away. And the idea here is that as the march is going here, we're on this side street and we're placed at these intersections, and we're preventing traffic from coming down and being a safety risk intersecting with the march. So you have your main route and you have corkers on either side, 1 block off, that are making sure that you are safe and that cars are not getting through. So I found the Reddit thread where this video came from, and I'm sorry that I don't have an attribution for the person who filmed it yet. I saw a lot of comments that were like, what is that dude in a yellow vest doing in the middle of the street? And people said, oh, well, he's a volunteer, he's a corker. And other folks were like, that's the cop's job. That's the cop's job to block the march route. So I think this is a really good chance here for education. Also, before I get ahead of myself, sorry, my brain's a little, I have put out feelers to try and find out who this individual is, because I want to make sure that I cover the cost of their bike repairs. These are we're volunteers, and that person put themselves in danger to protect marchers, to protect Portlanders yesterday. That woman was trying to go down a side street that would have intersected with the march, and they were there to stop them from doing that. It feels like no matter what kind of march or rally you have, there's always going to be at least one person who thinks that they're going to drive their car through the crowd, or that thousands and thousands of people are going to part ways to let one car. I don't know. Just the epitome of selfishness and indifferent cruelty. Okay. Let's not think too hard on her motivations. So getting back to these repeated comments of like, well, it's the cops' job to block traffic in this situation. That's not actually how it works. And if you've never been to events like No King's Day before, you're not familiar with how rallies and marches work. As I said at the beginning, they run on volunteer labor. So yes, we did have Portland police that were blocking parts of the route, but they don't block every single intersection. And what we had for a number of the marches was that the cops would come in on their motorcycle, right? So the march is advancing and then the cops would be blocking, but they didn't have enough people to permanently staff every intersection. So they would block for a little bit and then the bicycle corkers would come and take their place and the cops would move further down. And then pedestrian corkers like myself would come in and take the place of the bicycle corkers, and then the bicycle corkers would move on. So it's this little chain. And that's how we get all of the intersections along the route covered. Because when you have 60, 70, 80,000 people, it's a very long march and you rely on volunteers to cover all of the intersections and keep people safe. If you see somebody in a yellow safety vest at a march, on a bicycle, and that person is standing in the street, they are a corker, they are there for crowd safety. They are there to prevent cars from ramming into protesters. Same, if you see those of us in yellow vests on foot in the intersection with our arms out, we've got our radios, we're talking to people farther down the route to find out who is blocking next, where we need to move next as we are moving with the route, moving with the people to keep that crowd safety progressing along the march. And this does not come without personal risk, as we can see in this video. There are angry, dysregulated, or entitled people all over the place. And when you are putting your body in the middle of the road to try to protect other human beings, you're incurring some measure of risk. I've never experienced something like this. As people were discussing on Jackson's thread, it looks very much like an intentional assault. I don't know at this point if law enforcement got involved. I hope so. I know that woman's license plate was captured. I have a photo of it. I also just really want to point out here how much calm that corker exhibited in this situation. I think that there's a really good opportunity here for crowd safety people to get some training about how to use your bicycle to keep yourself safe. Whoever this person was, and I'm sorry that I don't recognize them, even though we were on the same team, dozens and dozens and dozens of volunteers. Whoever this person was, they skillfully and effectively handled the situation without escalating. You could hear how calm they were. And then at the end, you can hear them saying very loudly, like, hey, corkers, we're supposed to reroute traffic onto the next street. Just continuing to do their job as a vehicle is threatening them. I was so impressed with this person, so impressed. And I think that when we're looking at having more of these events and we're looking at, I don't know if this person was an agitated MAGA or just somebody who felt entitled to go some way they weren't allowed to go. I think it's really important that we think about these additional safety and training steps. It would not have occurred to me to use my bike in that way. And I think this individual's bravery and skill are an example to the rest of us. And it creates an opportunity here for learning for us as volunteers and also for the rest of you who might not understand the role of corkers at marches and rallies. Like I said, I'm trying to find out who this person is because I watched that video and I was like, I want to pay for that person's bike repairs. I want to cover the cost of that. This is somebody who volunteered their time for our community, for our city, for democracy, and they could have ended up very, very badly hurt. And I'm grateful it seems like they were okay. I also don't want to let this deter you from volunteering. Like I said, I have done crowd safety and safety marshal stuff all year, and I've never seen something like this. We've had counter protesters, we've had loud, yelly people, we've had issues directing traffic, but never something like this. Please don't let this deter you. We need people to volunteer in this capacity. And also, if you see a corker at your next rally or march, please tell them thank you. We have a lot of training in de-escalation, crowd safety. It's a big time commitment and something that we really enjoy, but a small thank you goes a long way. Okay, quick update before I post this. I'm glad I had this saved in my drafts. I found out who the person was. I'm connecting with them. They are uninjured. So grateful to all of our volunteers yesterday. Thank you. Thank you to hundreds of thousands of people across the country who organized and volunteered their skills and their labor and their time to help No King's Day be such a success.